Hey yo, I'm back in another video. Today I want to talk about UFC 305, a recap of UFC 305. But before I start today's video, subscribe to my channel. I've got very few subscribers. And yeah, watch this video at 2 times the speed so that it saves your time. And without further ado, let us start today's video. Okay, uh, UFC 305 is over. Overall, I did not watch these fights. I did not watch the prelims and the early prelims, but this fight, I did watch it after the replay and I watched it on YouTube and stuff when they were showing this controversy that Walter Walker he submitted Junior Tafa. Junior Tafa was like, screaming in pain in heel hook, and then the referee stopped the fight. And that Junior Tafa, in protest, I think he went out after the fight was over. He went to Walter Walker and slapped him, and then they were probably beefing outside the. They were having a fight or something outside the octagon, yeah, in the arena somewhere. I don't exactly know, but that was stupid decision by Junior Tafa. If you're really such a tough guy, then don't scream in pain from a submission. Tony Ferguson, his hand, like when Charles Oliveira put him in a submission, there was an armbar, if I'm not mistaken, and Tony didn't quit. Tony did not utter a single word from his mouth. Tony was in pain, but Tony doesn't cry like Junior Tafa. I mean, how come you're a bloody goddamn heavyweight and you're crying like that? Come on, dude, don't cry in pain, don't scream in pain if you really are that tough. And of course, the referee was going to stop that fight. That is actually apparently, according to Big John McCarthy, who is someone who pretty much made the rule set. He pretty much wrote the rule book, and he said it that if it's mentioned in a unified rule set that if you scream in pain, that the referee has the right to stop the fight, and referee exercises his right to stop the fight. Don't be a don't be a loser, dude. What kind of a loser mentality is that? You lose a fight and then after the fight is over, you go out there and beat your opponent just like Jorge Masvidal. That's the reason we don't like. Like you got an opportunity to fight, you lost the fight, and now you're just crying about it. Like, come on, dude. A big congrats to Walter Walker. Maybe he becomes a. I mean, I hope he gets more wins in future. I mean, it's the heavyweight division, and you normally do not see good grapplers in the heavyweight division. And he's training out of Moscow, Russia. Yeah, it's weird, right? He's the brother of Johnny Walker. It just makes no sense how those two are brothers. But yeah, whatever, man. Congrats to Walter Walker. And Junior Tafa might get cut. He deserves to get cut. Okay, now let's talk about the actual main card, the fight that I actually am interested. I picked Carlos Prates to win this. Probably I picked by unanimous decision, but he dominated Li Jingliang. He finished him in round two by TKO punches and entire fight, entire first round, and like 4 minutes 2 seconds of the second round as well. He was really dominant. Like he was never in any kind of trouble. His punches were landing. He was seeing the shots that Li Jingliang was throwing towards him. He was defending well. He was countering Li Jingliang, and I think he knocked down Li Jingliang twice or thrice in the very first round. And he got multiple opportunities to finish the fight, but he did not finish the fight because he was taking his time. His coaches told him to take his time, you know, and pick the shots carefully, and he did that. And eventually, he found his opening, knocked out Li Jingliang out cold. I don't think he's a very powerful puncher. That is Carlos Prates I'm talking about. I don't think he's a really powerful puncher, but I think he's got really good accuracy and his striking. Yeah, his striking accuracy and his speed is really good. The way he sees his punches, I think that's more important. Like he's a very skillful fighter. He's not exactly a power puncher like some other fighters that we see who gets the knockouts. And I think he's on a 6 fight winning streak right now. I don't know. I think he's on a crazy winning streak, not 6 fight. I think he's on a 10 fight winning streak or something. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's on a 12 fight winning streak. Crazy, man, crazy. And he's been in UFC for what, like 3 fights? He's had 3 fights in the UFC. All three are, I believe, knockouts. I don't know. Knee to the body, straight left hook. Yeah, 3 fights in the UFC, and all three are knockouts. He's 31 years old, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's 31. Yeah, he's 31. And in the welterweight division, I think he still has chance to. I don't know if he'll become a champion, but he can definitely become a contender. He's 31, and we already saw Bilal becoming a champion at the age of 35. So Carlos definitely has good, at least good 2 to 3 years in him, and the way he's climbing up the rank, like the way he defeated Li Jingliang, I think he's going to get a lot of attention after that fight. And yeah, I think he might get an opportunity to fight a ranked opponent next because he's already 3-0 in the UFC. He won 3 fights, maybe one more fight this year, and next year, towards the middle of next year, we might see him fighting a ranked opponent. And I think he should fight a ranked opponent because he's already 31. He should you know, put a pace on it. He should fight better opponents. I mean, again, Jing Liang is a good opponent. He's not a bad opponent. And yeah, it's kind of sad to see Li Jingliang get knocked out like that because he's a fan favorite. We've been watching him for some time right now, and nobody has been able to knock out Li Jingliang. He has never been finished by a knockout. He got submitted by uh, Kamza Shimaev, but that was grappling. And that is the Leech, is the first fighter from China to fight in the UFC. So it's yeah, he's got a good number of fans out there from China and across the world. Most of the MMA fans we've fight with him, but he never gets an opportunity to wear his suit. So yeah, kind of feel sad for him. But big congrats to Carlos Prates. He's a prospect. He's a prospect. He's a goddamn prospect. Now this fight, Jorginho Rozenstruik, I picked him to win by a TKO or probably a unanimous decision, but he won by unanimous decision. A really beautiful fight. What a performance, this guy. What a performance by Jorginho Rozenstruik. Biggie boy. But uh, but about Bam Bam Tuivasa, I think I don't know, man. He's been on a losing streak, but this was a good fight. He did not get knocked out in this fight. I think in last couple of his fights, he got knocked out bad. He got knocked out by Cyril Gane and he got knocked out by many other opponents. But in this fight, he was doing well actually. He wasn't doing that bad, but he did not win this fight. Some goddamn judge, I don't know who the judge was, some retard judge, some idiot. I don't know who he was. I think I forgot his name. Maybe we can find out. But that dude gave one round 30-27 in favor of Taito Ivasa. There is no goddamn way Taito Ivasa was getting around 30-27. Like 30-27. Like I don't know, he gave 3 rounds to Taito Ivasa. There is not a goddamn way in which Taito Ivasa was winning any goddamn round in that entire fight. I mean, of course, Biggie Boy won this fight and he deserved to win this fight because he was dominating Taito Ivasa. He was landing the cleaner shots. He was outlanding Taito Ivasa by, I don't know, 6-1 or something. He landed a good number of like, I don't know. I mean, I got to watch this. Wait. This was, I don't even know what to say about that fighter. Like that judge. I don't know what to say about him because he got thrown out of the arena. Like they sent him out of the arena and he was relieved of his duties. I don't think that judge should ever be allowed to judge a single fight in his career. Not just judge, he should never be allowed to watch UFC ever again. Forget about UFC. That particular judge should not be allowed to watch MMA ever in his entire life. They should just throw him out of every MMA. Like if someone sees him, hey, that dude, that the judge, he's watching MMA, he should be beaten up. Like I don't like people getting beaten up like that, but he should be beaten up. But come on, how the hell do you give this fight where Jorginho Rozenstruik was winning that fight? Like he had all the good moments. He was landing more shots. He was landing cleaner shots. He was like whatever Taito Ivasa was throwing towards him, Jorginho Rozenstruik was defending those. He had a good defense. Like he was bobbing, like he was moving his head around. So how the hell do you give that 30-27 to Taito Ivasa? Like crazy. But big props to Jorginho Rozenstruik for winning that fight. Now this fight, I got this one wrong. I actually thought Gamrot was going to wrestle and win this fight by unanimous decision. I think he could have done it, but he wanted to become an exciting fighter, and he said that he wants to show that his striking has improved. His striking has actually improved because he did land good number of shots on Dan Hooker in the very first round, for which you gotta give him a prop because he was trying to stand and bang with Dan Hooker. He did hurt Dan Hooker quite good in the very first round, I think, because Dan Hooker was bleeding from the first round itself. But eventually, Dan Hooker was able to land more shots on him. He was able to get the split decision victory, which I think is fair. A lot of people are calling it a robbery. I don't think it was a robbery because Mateusz Gamrot, even though he took Dan Hooker down, but he was not able to do any kind of damage on the ground, which is stupid. I think Mateusz Gamrot should have just wrestled. If he'd have gotten a boring unanimous decision, he would have still protected his rank. But now, even though this was a really exciting fight, I think they both won the performance. They both won the fight of the night bonus. Even after getting that bonus, I don't think Mateusz Gamrot, I mean, he lost his rank. I mean, rankings do not really matter a lot, but still, he lost the fight. And Dan Hooker, with the tattoos, I mean, this is an older picture, but Dan Hooker, the tattooed Dan Hooker is a mythical fighter. He was able to defend most of the takedowns from Mateusz Gamrot, and those elbows that he was landing when Mateusz Gamrot was trying to take him down, those did some damage to Gamrot. You got to, and yeah, I think Dan Hooker was probably high on fighting, like he was high on adrenaline. He was smiling and laughing, and he was just saying he loves this shit. But whatever, man. Big props to Dan Hooker. He's 34 years old, and he's kind of making a turnaround in his career. I think he defeated Jalen Turner and now Dan Hooker. I think he's on a three-fight winning streak, probably. Yeah, he's on a three-fight winning streak. He defeated Claudio Puelles. After that, he defeated Jalen Turner and now Mateusz Gamrot. I think Dan Hooker will be ranked number 5. So, yeah, I mean, Dan Hooker might get a title shot. I don't know if he's going to get a title shot, but him versus Justin Gaethje would be a good fight. Him versus Charles Oliveira would be a good fight. Arman Sarukian, I don't know if Arman Sarukian will fight him because Arman is waiting for the title shot, and I think he definitely deserves the title shot. So yeah, big props to Dan Hooker, man. What a good performance by him. And for Mateusz Gamrot, I kind of feel bad. The dude should stick to his wrestling. Like Habib always stuck to his wrestling. That's what made him so great. He just improved his wrestling to finish his opponents and break them down mentally. Just keep breaking them. And I guess Mateusz Gamrot is not that guy, man. He's not that guy. Kai Kara France knocked out Steve Erceg in the very first round, which I think is a fantastic win for Kai Kara France. Steve Erceg, Astro Boy, dude, how do you go 5 rounds against Alexander Pantoja and then lose to Kai Kara France in the very first round by a knockout, by a KO TKO? I don't know if I think it was a knockout. Like he did not go out cold. He did not get knocked out cold, but he might be the next Dominic Reyes. He might be the next Carlos Condit. Like they go against some really good fighters for like the Duho Choi fight. Like there are many fighters like that who go against the champion for 5 rounds and then they start losing against other unnamed fighters, like other fighters who are not as good as those champions. And I don't know, man. For Kai Kara France, I think it was a really good fight. He was setting up the traps, and then of course when he got an opportunity, he knocked out Steve Erceg. I don't exactly remember what was the finishing sequence, but yes, I think he might get a title shot next. If it's him or Tatsuro Taira, I think Tatsuro Taira is probably going to fight Brandon Royval. I mean, Kai Kara France might get one more fight, but I think he deserves the title shot. I think they should give him a title shot because his fight against Amir Albazi, I thought he won that fight, but again, the judges gave it to Amir Albazi. So currently, I think he should get a title opportunity to fight against Alexander Pantoja. Do I think he wins that fight? I don't think he will win that fight because Pantoja will find a way to take the fight to the ground and probably submit him or just hold him on the ground for goddamn 5 rounds. But I still think he deserves a fight. I think he deserves an opportunity to fight for the title. Okay, big congrats to Kai Kara France. And for Steve Erceg, I don't know, my boy. I don't know. Steve Carell, I don't know what he has to do. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of sad to see. Now, the main goddamn event, performance of the night, Dricus Du Plessis still knocks, baby. I told you so. I told you so. I say this in the prediction video that Dricus Du Plessis is going to defeat Israel Adesanya by unanimous decision or by ground and pound, or maybe a submission. I even said the submission, but I thought he was going to win by unanimous decision. But mostly I thought he was going to win by ground and pound because he's got really good grappling, and Izzy's grappling has never really been tested by any of his fight opponents because for goddamn reason, I don't know why. And Adesanya did defend a lot of takedowns. I think he defended like 3 or 4 takedowns from Dricus Du Plessis. But eventually, Du Plessis was able to find a shot. He was able to find those punches. And Du Plessis I told you, Du Plessis' power makes a lot of difference. I don't think anybody has hit Adesanya as hard as Du Plessis. Of course, Alex Pereira hits hard. But Alex Pereira hits hard because of his technique and everything. But Du Plessis just has those weird power. I mean, he's big and he has that ability to grapple, and he's hard, and his heart and his resilience is unquestionable. What a performance by Dricus Du Plessis. And I thought he was losing the first couple of rounds. I thought he lost a couple of those rounds, but the judges, according to the judges, he was actually up to 2-1 for the first 3 rounds. I think he won first 2 rounds and he lost the third round. I think he won the first round and probably the third round or something like that, but he won 2 rounds and Adesanya won 1 round for the first 3 rounds. But it does not matter because Du Plessis was able to find the submission in the round 2 itself. I think he probably won round 2. Yeah, I think Du Plessis probably won round 2 because he was able to submit. He could have submitted Adesanya in the second round if he would have been more patient, if he would have picked up his shots instead of going for a TKO, instead of going for a submission in the very first in the second round. I think he should have uh, controlled him more on the ground, and he should have landed more punches on the ground. But because he went for the submission, Adesanya was able to get out of the position and get back up. I think, yeah. So a lot of people were actually sad. The JRE companion, like Brendan Schaub and all of those guys, they were really sad when Adesanya lost. I mean, like, come on, dude. Do you really think they all predicted Adesanya? And some random, I don't know, that fat dude was saying it feels like America lost the war or something. Like, whatever, dude. But big props to Dricus Du Plessis. I told you so. Nobody. I mean, people are still doubting Dricus Du Plessis. I think they should stop doubting him because he is that guy. He just has that ability to win the fight. That is what matters in UFC or any other sport that you're fighting. It is your ability to win that fight. It does not matter if you keep getting hurt. All that matters is if you win or lose. If you win, then you're a winner. Like, I keep bringing up Habib because Habib always win. A lot of people are they call him boring. They call him, oh, he's not that good. He retired when he was young, but he did retired undefeated. Look at Izzy. Izzy is 35, but he has lost what last? Yeah, he has lost last two of his. He has lost last out of last 4 fights. He has lost three of them. He was able to defeat Alex Pereira. Then he lost to Sean Strickland and Dricus Du Plessis. What's happening? I think the next fight, easy fights, he'll probably lose that again, and then we'll just see him go out like maybe Chuck Liddell and Anderson Silva and like all of these other fighters that who are considered really good in their prime. Maybe Adesanya will go out like them just by losing more and more of his fights. I think maybe he should have retired or maybe he should move up to the light heavyweight division. But it is what it is, man. He lost that fight, and thank God he was not making any excuses because he was fighting a good fight. He did land a good number of shots on Dricus Du Plessis, but Du Plessis was just able to eat those shots. And when Du Plessis was landing, and those, I think he was just more like Du Plessis has more power than Adesanya, and that's a fact. It's a fact. Trust. But it is what it is, man. Big props to Dricus Du Plessis for winning this fight. I don't know who he's going to fight next. Probably Sean Strickland or maybe the winner of Shimaev versus Whitaker. But it is what it is, man. I guess that's it from today's video. It was a recap of UFC 305. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like and please share this to your friends and family who watch UFC. And please subscribe to my channel. I've got very few subscribers. Peace out.